Yeah, a lot of the time, each school has to have a quality assurance plan in place, obviously for Ofsted, because they'll want to see it when they come. And it's part of the SAR, this self-assessment report that you have to do prior to them coming in as well. Have we got this in place? Have we got that in place? Do we do that? If we don't do it, why don't we do it? And if we do it, where's the records of it? That we've had a meeting and we've done this and that. Those things all need to be in place for something like an inspection. So consequently, there will be material there somewhere. Somebody will be responsible for it. And like I said, if in doubt, get hold of the principal or the vice principal and ask them straight out who's responsible for the quality assurance.
We had today an unexpected phonics assessor come in to our school, and they were talking about self-assessment reports. So I could just ask for something in that stead, couldn't I? What they produced for that.
The self-assessment report is secondary. This is asking specifically at 5.1 about the system that you've got in place in the school. Like I say, they will all the systems. There are several different implementation systems, but they will all achieve the same goal, but they're just done different ways. So it's asking you to make an assessment of viewers, because obviously some are better than others. I'm not saying mine's perfect, but I've searched around through others and picked the best out of them to actually put it together. So hopefully it's reasonably good. It seems to be working anyway, so I will assume that it's okay. Now, one of the things that a lot of people get mixed up with here is this plan, do, review. Now, if you've not got a plan, you don't know what you're doing, and you can't review it. So there must be a plan in place for actually to do that. So this is the process that every school goes through in terms of the management side of it. This course at level 5 is taking you from a teaching position into a management position. It's looking at the processes that you need to be aware of, and then can contribute to those in a meaningful manner. So therefore, it's important this bit you get right, because if you look at 5.1, it's an analysis of the impacts of. Oh, sorry, I'm back on 3.4. Sorry. I'll come back to 5.1. Where are you? It's an analysis of the quality improvement and assurance arrangements of your own organisation. Again, referring to Ofsted report. Why did the Ofsted report pass you as okay? Because there is a plan in place, and that's what you need to be looking at. 5.2 is explain the function of self-assessment and self-evaluation in the quality cycle. And this is because you've got a system in place, how do we assess that, our position on that? We do it against the Ofsted standards, The standard will say, should have this, and this should be in place. And there'll be a 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. And you've got to put in at the side of there what you have in place that covers that, What documents you've got in place, what happens. There'll be something on teacher training, what training is provided, how is it provided, if it's provided. There are a whole load of things in there that they have to make sure they've got covered before the inspection, and that's why the SAR basically tells you what you need to do. If you've got all these processes in place, and I think there's about 28 of them, something like that, when you go through this process, you've got to look at it and say, yes, we've got that, and mark it green. Yes, I think we've got that somewhere, and I'll mark it orange. I definitely don't see we've got that at all. I'll mark it red. You go through that system until you've completed all the 26, and then you look out, okay, what's missing? What do we need to put in place? What I normally do, I go through the yellow first and say, have we got that? And if we haven't, it goes to a red. If we have, and it's okay, and it's up to date, then it goes to a green. And once you've gone through that process several times until you've ironed everything out and you've got a bunch of reds then that you need to complete, and all the rest is green. And that's the way a self-assessment report's done. And to do that, you do work with the staff. You find out what their feelings are on certain things. Have they done this? Do they do that? Does that documentation actually record what's happening? Yeah, or is it difficult to fill in, or is it difficult to complete? Do we need to look at revising how we actually document that? It may be an easier way of doing it. Is it too long-winded? Does it take too much time? Is that why some of them are not being filled in? You know, there are all sorts of things that fall out of this bag that you've got to look at in the management process of the operation, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's explaining how self-assessment matches up with the above bit. So, yeah, you've got a system in place. Who's responsible for what? Yeah. So that's fine. And he's telling me that will go into the SAR, which is excellent. Yeah. And then it jumps on here. It says evaluate a learning program taking into account the quality arrangements of your own organisation. So you look at a learning program, or even part of a learning program, and make an evaluation of how that works within the quality arrangements of the organisation. Yeah.
So with the learning program, because I've just recently started a new learning program, that's what I could, because it's
make an evaluation of it.
I could be talking about that then, couldn't I?
Yeah, exactly. If you're starting a new learning program, that works. In fact, I think I've put that on the. Are we? Oh, wait a minute, I've got the wrong one up here. Just a sec.
That's 11, yeah.
That's 11. Let me go all the way again a minute. Got too much stuff out here. And yeah, I'll come back onto that. Quality assurance, band sharing, best practice, peer observation, staff mentoring, in-service training, all those things I've just been mentioning that should be within a plan, yeah?
Yeah.
The standards, pro forma and course files, documentation, verification of documentation and assessment, course reviews, observation schemes, a whole host of things that I've just talked about before. It's mentioned in there, yeah?
Yeah.
And then 5.3, evaluate a learning program. They use learner surveys, focus groups, formal and informal learner feedback, a team review, early review to check the program's meeting expectations, program checks to ensure it's satisfying the needs for it, and reactive in response to any concerns about meeting targets or learner achievement records, and value-added rates and opportunities for action planning.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's you plan the program. You're looking to evaluate that plan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've started to run it, you can then put any feedback into there from what you've seen. So the evaluation will include negatives as well as positives if there are any. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's basically 5.3. And 5.4 is identifying improvement in the learning program. So that's just following on from that one.
Yeah, it just isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's an evaluation of outcomes of course evaluation, student survey data that you put, data, not the survey, the data this time. Benchmark, retention and achievement, student progress data, self-assessment report, teaching team feedbacks, a whole host of things. Obviously, everything's not going to be involved in what you do. But again, these were just for ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's that, actually. Put that back. What's this? That was for 11. I put that in the VLE now. Yeah. I can't remember what I put on here for this one now. 5253. No, that's 11 again, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah, it's all of that. Oh, that's yours. I've lost it again. Just a second.
I've had to sort of work a little bit blindly with the LO4 because I've not had my access to the staff intranet is not working at the moment. So I've just done everything that I could because we don't have time to really chase people around. So I've done whatever I could just off what they've got on their website, but hopefully it should be okay.
Yeah, I'll just nip down to 5 again on here. Yeah. Here we are. 5.3. Evaluate. Evidence should be produced. Written. It's not an analysis. That's better. Yeah. College issue arrangements of the organisation, but you need to actually produce evidence to show any feedback that you've had for the learning programme. So if it's a new one, actually it might not be as useful. You need to probably look at one that's been used before. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's more or less saying exactly the same thing. Just checking that it did, that's all. So on 4, you were clear on 1 now. Sorry, 5.1 now, are you?
For myself. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Was our pictures gone? Huh. Hang on. Just slow down a minute. Lost everybody. Second. Close that one down. Yes, I do. Close that down. Just a second. A quick look at something. That wasn't what I hoped. We're free again now. I've closed that down. Here we go. That's better. It'll open in a minute. I've moved this to the bottom again. Oh, what's thinking? Right. Okay, Deepa, I'm just going to start on 11 now, yeah? I made a start on it last week, didn't I?
Yeah.
Just opened up on it. I'm going to do that first hello for you again. so that you can carry on with that after you've completed that 5.1, yeah. And then I'm going to drop back onto 8, which you've completed, of course, now, yeah.
Yeah.
Just open that up. Oh, I forgot on there. I've got that. I've got your work, which I can close. So I need to open. Here we go. So, but all I said was basically on 11, I would complete LO1 first on its own, because it's separate from the rest of the unit in some respects, and well, in a lot of respects, and there are 6 assessment criteria to it as well. So I'm going to use that as a standalone for the first part of 11. So it's looking at the reasons for partnership working, yeah. And what I've done is I've added a document in there. Oops, that's not the one. I thought I had a document in there. It doesn't appear to be. I'm going to go through. Here we are. Oh, it's changed my documentation. A look at basically a handout through there with some information on and it looks at models of partnership and reasons for them basically. It just gives us, again, some ideas, because now we're off the first 4 units, of course. I have the unit amplification and the suggested evidence. Because those were the mandatory units which you've now more or less completed, yeah. So we're now looking at going beyond those, and the first one, of course, is 8, which you've now done. And well done on that, by the way. It went straight through, didn't it?
Yeah. Thank God for that.
I must have taught it well.
Yeah.
It's only a very short unit. It's only 2 learning objectives, and only a couple of ACs to each one. And it is again, it's only I think it's only a 6 credit unit or 5 credit unit, that one. But anyway, that'll give you some ideas for the partnership. And going back to, it looks at explaining the reasons. So again, read and respond. Chapter 8 of the ebook in there, it might help as well. But it's review opportunities and challenges for working within a partnership, and that's mainly, generally, in partnership working will have a certain amount of opportunities, which is why they're going to be formed in the first place, and challenges that make sure they keep up and running. Because the next bit is explain ways of sustaining partnerships and their outputs. In other words, once you've set a partnership up for a specific reason, it needs to be sustained and it needs to have targets to achieve, yeah. The next bit looks particularly at the 2 things we've just mentioned now. Explain the need for ground rules in terms of reference in partnership working, and justify the need for realistic timescales, deadlines in effective partnership working. Those are methods of managing a partnership. There needs to be people responsible for specific things in that partnership, and the communication system that's set up between those people are ways of sustaining those partnerships and their outputs. Because once the communication system breaks down, the partnership will eventually break up. That's been my experience in general, not just in education. But partnerships are usually set up for a specific reason. And once that reason's been accepted by everybody, there is a set of rules and responsibilities that are set in there, and those are what are used to maintain and manage that partnership. You get the people that can't be bothered. You get the people that want to make it their little empire. I'll be responsible for this. I'll be responsible for that as well, and I'll do this and I'll do that, and I'll take it over altogether. And you'll get reasons why there needs to be specific people for specific tasks, yeah, so that nobody's being asked to do too much, and nobody can take on too much, and then other things fall behind, yeah. Again, there's a hyperlink to a blog, you can have a read on that, yeah, and basically it's just partnerships in general terms this is talking about here. Obviously we want to be talking about an educational partnership, but that is the ground rules for it. Excuse me. I'm not expecting you to do LO2 yet, but I'll just explain how that leads in, because everything from now on is about the partnership you choose to use, yeah? So all the data, all the information has got to be about a specific partnership, yeah? To explain the purpose of it, a specific partnership, identify its aims and objectives, review individual roles and responsibilities, which is something we've talked about in the general part of LO1, summarise potential contribution of stakeholders, identify boundaries of individual roles and ownership issues within a specific partnership, and review resource implications for that partnership and its individual members. It could be even down to things like, give an example. Right, okay. A certain school that I was working with, it was an SEN college actually, had work placements with, you know, organisations in the town where the youngsters could get some work experience. But several times I noticed on the where we were working through there, they missed the chance to go because there was no transport available. So again, review how it's managed, identifying potential partnership issues, yeah, and again, resource implications for individual members, yeah. So those are the sort of things you need to be looking at on there, yeah. Excuse me. So going back on there, I've just written it in here in you know, for clarity. Once you have completed L1, you need to choose a partnership you have it in school, college, work, respond to the tasks 2.2, 3.1, 3.3, right through actually to 5.3 with about that partnership, yeah? Because nothing from there, from after LO1, is about anything else but that partnership. Okay? So, aim to do LO1 first, Deepa. After you've completed 5.1 on there, your Unit 8's fine, yeah? And then you can basically just carry on with LO1 on there. Right, but again, I wouldn't, unless you've got plenty of time or you've shot through it, I wouldn't bother with LO2 at this stage, and I'll go through, because LO2 and 3 follow each other, I'll take LO2 and 3 together at a later date, yeah?
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
If you're happy with that, unless you've got any specific questions for me.
Nah, not yet.
Okay, well, obviously, you can mail me or text me if you've got an issue, and I'll follow that up. Yeah.
Right, brilliant. Thanks, Phil.
Okay, no probs.
Bye, Esther.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Afshet, we're going to have a look at Unit 8 now.
Okay, yes, fantastic.
So I've got back onto my pump.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just get rid of these.
I like the fact that it's a short unit.
Like the what?
I like the idea that it's a short unit. So they're my kind of units.
There is a bit on indicative content in here as well. I'll bring that up in a minute, but I need to find my suggested evidence sheet.
Do you know, I was doing LO3, and I was like, what on earth are stakeholders? I had to Google what are stakeholders. Because I had no idea that as a staff member, students, parents, that we are classed as stakeholders. I'm like, oh, it makes sense now. So after that,
everybody who has got an interest in that circumstance and is a part of it, is a stakeholder.
A stakeholder.
They're not just
I think it was something to do with the investments and finances.
Right, yeah. No, think about it as internal and external. If you think about it that way, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
You've got internal stakeholders, which is yourself.
And then you've got external.
The learners, the parents, all that. Well, parents are sort of external, aren't they? Yeah. Excuse me. So we need to save that. Oh, no. Yeah.
That's all right.
That's it. So, okay, it's understanding principles underpinning development and preparation of resources for learning and development. Now, again, you may have covered already quite a lot of this. Yeah. That's why it's a particularly fast unit. I'll mention that as we go through here now. But it's explain the principles underpinning resource selection for learning and development. Yeah. Analyse factors that are important when developing and preparing resources that conform to national legislation and organisational policies. And evaluate the contribution of technology to the development of learning and development resources. Yeah. So that anything technological that you use, whether it be iPads, whether it be
interactive
boards, even
oh, sorry, I've got a bang on the door. Have you got 1 second? Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
They're back with dinner. They went out to the takeaway to get it all done.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, we did last night, so we ate in tonight. Read and respond here. You can cross-reference evidence from Unit 1, Learning Outcome 5, Task 5.3 and 5.4.
Okay, yeah.
May not be all of it, but there'll be
some of it in there and I can add on.
You just have to write a bit of a link into there, yeah? 1.2, here you have to look at the national descriptors and explain how the curriculum schemes will work and development corresponds to meeting these requirements. For example, if you decide to deliver a new course, which you were talking about doing, how do you use the BTEC course descriptors, learning objectives, etc., to help you conform to the standards.
Okay.
How do we put that together? I do it very simply and straightforwardly by using those course descriptors and actual assessment criteria to highlight what needs to be done.
Just 1 minute, I'm coming, okay? Almost finished. Close the door, please. Okay, sorry. Okay, bye-bye. I'll be there in 1 minute. Okay. Sorry.
And then evaluate our resource, interactive board, video, streaming, any of that sort of thing. Just an evaluation of it, how it's useful as a resource.
Yeah.
So that's LO1.
Yeah.
LO2 is agree the needs of learners for whom resources are being developed. 2.1, refer to your ILPs developed in Unit 1, cross-reference them to Task 2.4 and highlight the use of resources that you use to teach the learners.
Okay, that sounds
you've well covered that, as far as I can remember. Yeah. 2.2, prepare resources for the delivery of learning and development, ensuring legislative, organisational health, safety and welfare, equality and inclusion requirements are met. It's a big mouthful. Cross-reference this with Unit 1, Task 5.4 and 5.6. But again, always read what you've read. Read what you've written.
What you've written, see if it covers it,
And that to make sure it covers the actual AC on here. Most of the time, if I put a definite cross-reference in, it may need just a little bit more. Depending on what you
to add paragraphs in, do that.
2.3, plan adaptations that you've had to make for a specific learner. And I think you've covered that.
I've done that on a different one, I think, yeah.
Yeah, 5.3 of Unit 1. 2.4 and 5, even here you can cross-reference tasks 5.2 of Unit 1, also an appendix, as an appendix if necessary, to show a lesson plan where you use the varied or adapted resource that you've developed to actually deliver the teaching. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's it.
Fantastic. That's not too bad. I'll have hopefully by before next lesson I'll get 4 finished, and hopefully the 8 doesn't look too bad, so get that sorted out as well.
Yeah, well, as I said, what Deepa had put for 5, she covered it more just that she misunderstood what was required.
Talk about the actual processes, talked about what happens instead, yeah.
I think you're pretty clear on that now, because I've been over it about 4 times now just to make sure it's about the system, not the actual detail. Although you can mention detail, of course, if it's working well, and then you can, for example, we do this at this point. The reason it works is this, because it's an analysis. You can use that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So that is just about it, I think.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
We came on. Is that all it is? 4:09.
Yeah.
Right. What time did we come on? Oh, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
We came on early. I wondered why we done that.
Normally 8:30 for myself. Normally I like this time. It's good.
What, is 8 o'clock better?
Yeah, I like it's good. Yeah.
Right.
It gives me time to get the kids in bed on time as well, so which is good.
Yeah. So I prefer 8:30.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Because sometimes I get in probably a bit later. Between 6 and 5:30. The time my wife does the cooking, so I do all the washing up and tidying up. So
and get all
I've got that finished. I only had about 5 minutes to spare tonight. We're a bit late eating.
Oh, I could hear from before that.
You're happy with that, are you?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, I will then say ta-ra for tonight. And again, contact me if you need anything at all.
I will do.
Superb.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for attending.
Thank you. Bye-bye.